And second up is Adam Lake.
Thank you. I headed up Out and Proud, who are a sort of LGBT Brexit group. But really, we sort of discussed the whole range of issues regarding leaving the EU. And despite our particular focus on LGBT issues, the main one being that we were constantly told that so many of our rights and freedoms were because of the EU when they were not. I don't know about you, but when I was in the voting booth on the Thursday, the 23rd of June, what really made me want to vote to leave, it was because I was motivated by a desire to see a stronger link between the electorate and the laws that govern us. And I have to admit that I didn't think we were going to win it. I thought, my expectations were quite low. I thought that Project Fear had ingrained itself far too much into us, that we were just going to stick with the status quo. But something amazing happened, and lots of people who never ever voted before, people in my family who never ever voted before, found their voice. And I think people decry and say, oh, but they were scared or they were stupid. No, they were having really serious conversations about really serious issues. They were analysing this far more than I think some of the elite were. And I think what was so glorious is that for the first time in a generation, every single person's vote counted as much as everybody else's. And we just can't let's not forget just how big an issue that is, just how inspiring that potentially could be. Now, I don't always believe that referendums are the answer to everything. I think the X Factor proves that the British public are very easily swayed by a tragic backstory and crocodile tears, but enough about Angela Eagle. But referendums do have a place, but I think they're a weapon of last resort. And like every weapon of last resort, it should be used with rarity, but with that rarity, when it is used with finality. I think that's really important. Now, something that I found quite frustrating throughout the campaign, everyone kept talking about what are the facts. I just want to see the facts. Lay out the facts for me. As if we were sort of looking for some academic answer here. This was a question of principle. And the fact is, you don't need to be a banker or a lawyer or have an MA in political science to be able to have an opinion in how we are governed. And it seemed to me that the entire campaign was geared about trying to make people believe that they were being asked to vote for something too complicated for them to understand, that we needed the likes of Goldman Sachs to teach us about our values. We even had Polly Toynbee, and I couldn't believe this as I read it, explain that the reason why so many old people voted to leave the EU was because only 6% of them went to university. Now, some that didn't go to university, I find that quite offensive. And really, the argument that we're hearing from some quarters is not that we should overturn a democratic mandate because it's not what the British public want. It's because it's something that the British public don't understand. And more than that, it's something that the British public at large probably might never understand. And I find that quite a scary concept. I think the referendum has also revealed a dangerous idea that this dangerous notion that only certain people should be entrusted with democracy, and it's more ingrained in our society than we ever imagined. I think the sneering arrogance exhibited by huge swathes of those seeking to overturn the vote is quite frankly shocking. Many people in this room who voted and campaigned to leave will have been branded as racists and bigots. I even had my husband, who voted to leave, told that he was a racist and a bigot, and he should fuck off back to Latin America, where he comes from, because we don't want those values over here. True story. But it's not liberal. Talking about immigration, it is not liberal to argue for free movement so that you can pay the person that cleans your toilet less money. That's not liberal. And it's this sort of people like them approach that divides society, and we need to be putting a stop to it. I'm all for people come to this country, but on the same level as everybody else. And my final point is democracy isn't about testing the public to see if it knows the right answer. Giving the electorate a vote should be the ultimate statement when there is no right answer. Leaving the EU was not the right answer, no more than remaining in the EU was the right answer. It was the answer. And as a society and as campaigners and as influencers in this room, we must continue to make the point that Article 50 should be invoked because it's the outcome that we chose. Democracy is not a methodology, it's our ultimate insurance policy. We need to treasure it, protect it, defend it, but most of all, we need to enact it.